graders, I was reading over your pieces yesterday and I could tell that you all were practicing your paragraphing that we talked about and some of those other revision strategies, and I know that you were noticing that your latest draft has really changed from the first few drafts. I saw some of you were really cutting out those parts that didn't help support your big idea. Some of you were really thinking about, how am I gonna focus my piece? And you took out parts that didn't work for you. All right, so today I'm gonna teach you another way to revise because you guys are showing great perseverance with your revision. I'm gonna just teach you one more way to make your piece even better, okay? So we're gonna be thinking about how writers revise to make sure that every detail that you include in your story supports the bigger idea of your experience. So I'm gonna show you how to do this in my piece. You're gonna watch me reread my piece part by part, and then I'm gonna think about the big idea of my experience, and then I'm gonna ask myself, does this add to my big experience? And if not, then I'm gonna check and see, could I add a little bit more or change it in some way so that it does work for my piece. I'm gonna go back to my piece about when our cat Tigger died. Remember I was telling you about that?
Yeah.
So in this story, I started out talking about how Pookie and Tigger were sisters and they loved to cuddle and they were just like me and my sister. All right, we were good friends and we fought sometimes, right? But the big part of my story comes down here. And this is on that day when my sister was on a field trip and we found out from our neighbor that that he had hit Tigger and he was telling us about it. And I had to think to myself, is the big idea, is my experience in the story really about losing Tigger, our cat? Or is it about me being the big sister and having to protect my little sister from this awful thing that happened? And how was I going to help her get through this? And I was thinking, I think it's more about me being the big sister, all right? So I'm gonna reread this part by part. I have my introduction here, and my last line of my introduction says, unfortunately, we didn't have as much time with Tigger as we thought we did. So then we get into this moment. It's a big one. At around 6:30 p.m., our doorbell rang. It was our neighbor from 2 doors down. He looked very upset. You have a gray and black and white cat, right? He asked. Yes, I answered slowly. I'm really sorry, but I hit her and she is not doing well. And I want to stop at this moment and think, this part is really sad, but I'm thinking about my big idea about me protecting my little sister, and I'm wondering, how could I change or add something in here that shows that what I was really thinking about was my sister? So I'm wondering, here's where I answered slowly. I said yes, and then remember how we were elaborating by adding internal thinking, like what we were thinking in our minds at the moment? I think I could do that here. Yes, I answered slowly. I thought to myself, how am I going to tell this to my sister? That could work, because then I'm really showing the reader that what I care about most in this piece is showing how I need to protect my sister. So do you see how I stopped after each part to think about, does it really support my big idea? And then I thought about, what might I need to add in here to help support that big idea? Go ahead and open your pieces, your latest draft, and read your piece and think about, just start reading either in the beginning or somewhere in the middle and be thinking about, does this part support my big experience? And can I add something to help my reader understand what I'm really feeling or thinking in this piece? Which part did you start writing yesterday? Okay, so start rereading, be thinking about, is there a part where you might need to add a little bit more? What are you looking at, Nicholas?
I'm kind of adding to this because this kind of doesn't make any sense.
Okay, what are you thinking? Tell me.
Like maybe the story is so confusing. Because is like so it'd be like in the to-do list.
Okay.
Because that means like everything that we need to do.
So this was part of all the things that you were doing, but you're thinking this doesn't fit with your piece?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're thinking about revising by taking that out? Okay, so keep thinking, what is your big idea in your piece that you want to share with your reader? What is your big message?
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. So think about where might you add in some details, maybe some internal thought, or a couple other details of things that you did or said that could show that. Keep reading. See if there's a place where you might do that. So, writers, this can be hard to do right in the moment, to look at your own piece and figure out where you might need to do that. Quickly turn and talk to your writing partner and just share with them, what are you thinking about your piece and where you might need to add something, or you could even ask your partner for help. Turn so that you're knee to knee, eye to eye with your partner, show your piece, or talk about what you're thinking.
Thoughts because while someone was trying to talk to her, I was thinking like, what if I tried talking to her and try and get an answer? And I was thinking there's a 50% chance it's gonna work and a 50% and another 50% chance that it's not gonna work. But it worked. 1, 2, 3. What do you think you're revising? Like, what are you gonna revise? What are you gonna add on?
Writers, go ahead and turn back. So, some of you were really thinking about what is the big idea in my piece, and some of you were noticing, I might need to think a little bit more about my big idea. When you do that, that's gonna help you as you are revising to really make sure that every detail in your story counts. So when you go off writing today, be thinking about which details are going to help support my message, what might I need to add in, or some of you were needing to finish up paragraphing like we were practicing yesterday. Some of you are still adding to your drafts. You've got a lot of writing work left to do before we publish these, so off you go.